chat some of the things you're hoping to get out of our time together. We'll greatly appreciate it.
Yes, your time is valuable. We want to make sure you get exactly what you came to get. And so, with that, yes, feel free to use the chat area. It's intimate, so
Yes.
we may be able to. Okay. All right. So yes, yes, yes. All right. With that, we'll go ahead and get started. So again, welcome to Baggage Claim Security Chat, and we're going to be looking at the chat area just to make sure we're with us.
Well, we need to introduce ourselves.
Oh, they don't know who they are. Hello.
They know who they are, but they know who we are, but not everybody may know who we are.
Yes, thank you. Welcome, welcome. We are the co-founders of Chosen Life Specialists LLC, where we provide artful relationship counseling and coaching. And so my name is Charmaine Jennings. I'm also a spoken word poet and creative.
My name is Walter Jennings. I'm an ordained minister and a spoken word artist as well. We both are artists. And so with Chosen Life, we're arts infused relationship counseling and coaching service. And so we're very excited again about getting into the masterclass that is based on our book, How the West Was Won. It is our life and love story. And so again, this particular masterclass series is called Baggage Claim.
Yeah, so today we'll be focusing on security check, inspection required. Okay, so we go into relationships, friendships, all of the we go into these things, and we sometimes don't stop, pause, and take time to audit what we're bringing into the situation.
Did you say we go into ships? Like friendships? Like money ships, like relationships.
Yes, because we have the Queen Mother and the King on the line of our getting our ships together. So yes, and so we're super excited about just this conversation, and I mean it's intimate, so you might be able to hear their voices.
Absolutely. So our vision with Chosen Life, again, we're really focused on redefining the culture of relationship wellness that leads to thriving communities. And we know that as time moves forward, we have to become adaptable, but we have to be careful that we don't move away from principles and values and ensuring that our foundation remains intact as we are adapting to new practices. So what Chosen Life is all about is helping individuals and couples to identify those things that are going to help them to remain effective, but also remain close together. And the way that we go about doing that, again, is through arts infused relationship counseling and coaching via retreats, boot camps, wellness workshops, also enlightenment and empowering men, women, couples, and groups. We're very fortunate, again, to partner with organizations like Growing Human Capital, and events like Get Your Ships Together. We're very, very appreciative to partner with various churches, First Baptist Church of College Hill, Heritage Christian Center. Those types of places and settings allow us to really love First Christian Center as well, our home church. But those types of organizations and settings allow us the platform to really help to focus on that mission.
Awesome. And we have 12 key principles. Not that we're going to unpack them today, but they're always embedded in everything that we do. This month happens to be the focus is on change.
That's right.
And change is hard. So this topic will kind of be embedded in that as well. So our 12 key principles are always outlined and embedded in everything that we do. And we did talk about today materials you will need: a journal, something to write on, because you will walk away with your own reflection that will guide some really intimate conversations, either with your friends, whatever the focus of your work is today. So if it's romantic or if it's friendships, you will walk away with information to really guide some conversations.
Yes, and this is a public service announcement. Oftentimes when we say that we're artists, the first thing that people think of is, oh, we're gonna have fun. This is gonna be creative, colorful. We're gonna have a good time. Yes,
this is fun.
Absolutely. It is going to be that, but we're also educators. So you're also going to learn. So anytime that you have us as a part of something, know that you're going to have a good time. It's going to be fun, but there's also going to be some learning involved. And again, we know we have educators on the line as well, all throughout that K through 12 continuum.
Yes.
And so just know that absolutely we're going to have a good time. It's going to be interactive, but this is also intended to be educational as well.
All right. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. Buckle up, let's secure the cabin. Let's make sure we have our materials and that we are ready to kind of be honest about.
You always did want to do the whole stewardess thing. You just roll right into that. All right, buckle up. You just
buckle up. Let's go ahead and make sure the cabin is secure. And yes, everyone's seated in their assigned seats and things like that. Secure your baby. Yeah, make sure the babies are happy and comfy. All right, go ahead and get the party started. Oh, you wanna explain this before we go into it?
Yes, absolutely. So, by a show of hands, if you would hit the react button, pass her the book. Hit the react button if you already have How the West Was Won. If you have the book, hit the react button and raise your hand if you have How the West Was Won.
I have it over here.
It's not okay.
It may be
All
in
right.
my bag.
All right. Hit. All right. I see one hand. I see one thumbs up. All right, excellent. So that's good. We got some people on the line who do have the book, and we have some people who do not. So we are going to give you an opportunity to definitely purchase the book because, again, it is going to be the basis of the class as we move forward. And also, too, there are going to be some activities and things that we're going to illuminate inside of the book as well. And one of them we are getting ready to move into is something called a 6-word story.
Okay, and we want you to write this down because actually we're going to begin with where your homework is going. Guys, just like I can't. I got homework. It's going to be fun
off the rip.
See,
off the rip.
Fun. It's like you can have fun and homework, go in the same sentence. So,
yeah, and to be clear too, we did not come up with 6-word stories.
No.
This is something that is several years old. One of the most popular 6-word stories was by Ernest Hemingway. Very popular, jarring one. And the story is For Sale, Baby Shoes Never Worn. So
run that back. Say it again, slow motion.
Sure.
So this is a 6-word story.
6-word story.
And this is going to be your homework. We want you all to be able to share your story in 6 words.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's called a 6-word poem as well. Okay, but it doesn't have to rhyme. It's just 6 words and it says a lot about it. So the Ernest Hemingway, the most famous 6-word
story. So this is a 6-word story by Ernest Hemingway. For sale.
For sale.
Baby shoes never worn.
So now when you think about that, there's a lot of meat in that. 6 words, a lot of meat, right? So it's about what's said, but it's also is about what is not said, right? And so we're about to show you 2 6-word stories that are also in the book. And we want you to really ask yourself, what baggage do you believe this person brought into their relationship based on the 6-word story you're about to see? Okay. So what baggage do you believe the individual of this 6-word story brings into their relationship?
All right. So 6-word story number, we go. Raised in church, left, found God. So what do you think the baggage that this person might have is? Also, how do you think that baggage would impact their future relationship with others or with themselves?
You want to write it in their journal?
Yes.
You're going to write this now and in the chat.
Okay. It says someone in church hurt them. Okay. Worldly trauma. All right. Church hurt. Flight risk. Okay. Flight risk. And that goes with the whole flying theme. All right.
Okay.
Excellent. Good. We got about 9 more seconds. Good. You
may even come up with a question. I'm a questions person.
Yeah.
So
yeah, yes, you are. Oh. Yes, you are. No truer words.
I want to know.
Yes, you do.
So you can even. What questions do you have after hearing this 6-word story? Right. What curiosity do you have?
Right. All right. So we're gonna give y'all. Yeah, we're gonna let it get down to 30, and then that way y'all had a minute and a half, and we'll move on to the next one.
They probably had more than that. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's my job. That's what I do.
We have a couple more. Lost their way, left God, became bad. Okay, good, because that's a whole relationship, right? A huge relationship.
Yeah, rules, disappointment, helping God. Okay.
Help in God. Got it. Love that. Okay, beautiful. Right. Rules. I love that. The rules piece, right? Depending on your experience, not trusting their decisions, confused.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, we got 5, 4, 3, 2. And all right, we're gonna go on to the next one.
Okay.
The next
we're gonna give you another 6-word story. Okay, another 6-word story. And again, What relationship baggage might this person have, and how might it impact their future relationships?
Right.
Jamaican roots, Florida palms, village raised. Jamaican roots, Florida palms, village raised.
This is a really powerful one. It's a really powerful story.
Well, if they use that to literal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it was for both.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got some more comments coming in.
Not easy to break customs and culture to start new with family. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is good.
Mm-hmm.
This is good. We're talking about customs, so culture, starting a new family. Interesting. These are all things that impact our relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Customs, culture, and starting anew, right?
Mm-hmm. Got about 30 more seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Might not like being stationary.
Ooh.
Hey, yeah. Yeah. Let me drink some water on that one.
This sounds pretty personal. I love that. Yes, you're right? So we have a couple of layers.
All right. 10 more seconds, and then we will move on to share a little bit more about these stories. Family, everything goes experimenting, and family matters. Oof. All right.
That's a hashtag right there.
All right. Yep. So let's share a little background about these 6-word stories. So you want to share a little bit about your.
Go ahead. We're gonna start with the first one.
All right. So the first one, raised in church, left, found God, is my 6-word story. This is my 6-word story that can be found in the book. And for me, I was reared in church. I was brought up in church. Went twice on Sunday. Went on Wednesdays. Went on Saturday to youth rehearsal and all of those things. Right. But for me, it was really more religious than it was a spiritual experience. It was something that I had to do. It was like going to school. It was an obligation. And it wasn't until I went to college and I was like, thank God I ain't got to go to church every Sunday. I can know what it's like to sleep in or be like other people I saw that just got up. I was like, I wonder what people who don't go to church on Sunday do on Sunday mornings. Like that was the thing I was always curious about. And so what I found though is that in doing that, it allowed me to lean on God more because I didn't have anything that was stable as far as with really seeking God. And if that wasn't just going to church and going to a building, did I really have a relationship with God? And what I found is that true spirituality is in the way that I commune with God and pray and talk to him outside of just going to church. And to be clear, going to church is a part of our ritual or religion.
Yep.
And religion absolutely has this place. And the fact that I went to church when I was younger, and the fact that I went to church was very important in helping to build that foundation.
Discipline.
But leaving the church helped me to learn how to depend on God and develop my own spirituality. And so that finding God piece was in learning how to trust in God in the things that I was walking through in my life without necessarily having to run to a building. I could read my Bible, but to also value the support system that the church offered. So yeah, that was really big for me.
And if you're parenting a teenager, young adult, they all go through this crossing this threshold of crossing over between doing what the ritual of my family culture has conditioned me to do to crossing over to what is my unique relationship with God going to be like.
Yeah, and we encourage you to create space for that, to make sure that you support your young people in their journey. Again, you may have required them to go to church, and again, they may be in a season where I'm not going to church right now. Like, pray, but be very careful about micromanaging them in that.
Mm-hmm.
Continue to trust and believe that what you have instilled in them is going to show up in their spiritual journey.
Absolutely. The next 6 word story is mine. It says Jamaican roots, Florida palms. You can look at the palms as palm trees or palms, the palm of people's hands. Right. And village raised. And so, yes, I, in my relationships, I have my birth family is from Jamaica, my birth mother and father from Jamaica, born and raised. They came this country. I was born here in Florida. Jamaican dream, the American dream is hard. So me and my siblings, I was the youngest, we fell into pretty much into foster care. And so because of that, I was raised in an African American family. So that is where my culture is rooted in the African American tradition. That is where I gained my belief in the Lord. And that village raised piece is like, man, I had a lot of different families that I had to navigate between. So in my friendships, in my romantic relationship, like anyone who knows me knows that, man, family is important. That family matters that you put, Miss Margie, in the chat, family, experimenting. You're right, exploration. I do tend to be, I embrace change a lot. And then the family matters pieces.
Promote change a lot. Advocate
I'm a change
change.
agent.
Yes,
Yes,
indeed.
that's true. So that's so interesting how it might not like being stationary. Eric, you were right on that. Oh my gosh, I'm the one that'll change the room around 3 times a year, and you like, really?
Please
Really?
keep me lifted up. Please pray. Please pray for me. I just come home and it's just, hey,
All right. All right. So let's jump right into it. So that 6 word story is gonna be your homework.
Mm-hmm.
Homework, okay? The 6 word story of your life, and we want it to be enriched and engulfed in that. And after we break down these categories in your notes, you will be able to build it, okay? All right. So our learning targets, you earn, you get, okay? So you put in the work, you're going to get something out. So learning targets equals you earn, you get. So today our goal is to identify your friendship or relationship baggage, determine your baggage, determine if your baggage is healthy or unhealthy. All right. We want to remove the terms good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
Those are labels, those are diagnoses that if you put those things there, then again, it doesn't help you with your growth process.
Mm-hmm.
Living things grow, living things become healthy, and sometimes become unhealthy, right? And so we want to use that terminology. We also want to uncover the patterns or motivations that influence your behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
Change doesn't happen without a shift in our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions.
Mm-hmm.
And then learn strategies to promote intentional relationship health and wellness and growth. These are our goals, but you also put some things in the chat area that you guys want to go deeper with your conversations as a couple and learn to release baggage.
Mm-hmm.
That does help bring the best out of me and my relationships. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
A better understanding of your upbringing and relationships. Ooh, we're going to dive deeper into culture and how that in some of our other segments, I think we unpack that. But today you will unpack for sure you. And you'll be able to make those connections, tips and testimonials. Absolutely.
Definitely
So
gonna get
you're
that.
gonna get all of that. All right.
Yep. So we're talking about again baggage claim, right? And the bottom line is all of us have baggage.
Mm-hmm.
So all of us come with baggage, and oftentimes when we hear the term baggage, it often has negative connotation to it, right? Because usually baggage is associated with things that we bring with us that are not necessarily positive contributions. But the bottom line is some baggage can be good. There can be good things that we bring. I'm sorry, some baggage can be healthy and some unhealthy. And so some good, some bad. And so what we want to do is we want you to acknowledge your baggage, to help you to scan your baggage as well. This is similar to again, the travel plan. When you get ready to go to the airport or the bus station or the train station, some of the things that they do is they ask you to acknowledge your baggage, and then they scan your baggage to see exactly what's in it. There's a screen that asks, is there any hazardous materials, any lithium batteries, and things of that nature. There are safety requirements. And so really identifying what's in your bag, and is it toxic, or is it something that could be harmful to you or someone else? And then presenting your identification. That's taking ownership and responsibility for exactly your bag and what's in it, not deflecting, not denying, and some of the things that we'll also get into when we talk about the 4Ds, but making sure that you own exactly what's yours, and then weighing your bag. The challenge oftentimes with our baggage is not necessarily what's in it, but some of the weight of some of the things that we are carrying. You may have good baggage that is really heavy. What that means is you may have something that is a part of who you are, but the way you are carrying it or the amount of people that you are trying to do it for is entirely too broad. And so being able to weigh your baggage to ensure that you're able to carry it.
Yeah, so you're going to get that personal PhD today. All right, so what's inside your friendship or relationship bag? Let's keep it moving.
Let's get into it.
All right, so the first thing we want you to do is identify what is your focus today. Are you focused on your me work, me, myself, and I, right? Which is an infinite, ongoing relationship for a lifetime. If you're a spiritual being, I believe most of us on the line are. But if you're a spiritual being, that is your relationship with yourself and your creator. Right? Maybe that's your focus today, and that's completely fine. Maybe you have a we work focus, meaning your we work, you're focused on your friendship or your family relationship, your relationship with your mother, your relationship with a sister or someone in your family or your child, right? Maybe your focus is community, a relationship you have with someone in the community, co-workers. Maybe your focus today is about your job. Okay. I don't have a healthy relationship with my job and I really want to improve that. Okay. Or it might be your romantic relationship. So I know in the chat, everybody's in a different place in space. So first identify for this entire exercise what is going to be your relationship focus. And second, are you auditing your present situation or your past? Your mind is going to want you to toggle back between old things and current things. We want you to have a time period that you're going to focus on. Okay. Are you trying to audit your history? Okay. Are you auditing, maybe you're auditing your history so that you can understand what's happening today. And that's fine too. Okay. All right. Everyone give us thumbs up if you were ready. You have already identified your focus. It can be a digital thumbs up, or if you're on camera, it can be a thumbs up. We see you. Excellent. Beautiful.
It's good.
All right. Okay. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, we're moving. All right, so the first, just a disclaimer, please inspect what you expect with respect. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. A lot of times we made decisions, choices because we didn't know that we didn't know that we didn't know that we didn't know.
Right.
So, but today we're inspecting what we expect from ourselves and from others in our lives, right? But we're going to do that with respect.
That's right.
Okay. We knew what we knew, and we didn't know what we didn't know. Okay. Also, all right. So we're going to first start. What is your definition of healthy and unhealthy? We're going to give you a definition, but we need you to define that. So in your journal, go ahead and make a T-chart. Draw a line down the center of your journal. Okay, and we want you to write healthy on one side and unhealthy on the other. So to start off, you're going to define what are some characteristics of healthy relationship traits for you. What does it mean to be healthy? Have a healthy relationship versus an unhealthy relationship. Is anyone focused on their work with their relationship with their job? Professional arena? Anyone? I know I have somebody that's working on their romantic relationship. Okay. Or a friendship.
So the way we're going to have you all, as Charmaine mentioned, define healthy and unhealthy is think about, for you, when you think about healthy, what are three characteristics that you would associate with a healthy relationship in your own words? And then when we talk about unhealthy, what are three characteristics that you would associate with an unhealthy relationship?
Thank you for clarifying. Okay. All right. So your definition of healthy and unhealthy. Okay. We're gonna keep moving for the interest of time.
I think we can have them throw just a few in the chat. Would you all mind throwing just a few of your definitions in the chat? So if you would, throw one characteristic for healthy and one for unhealthy. You wrote down three, so we're going to ask you if you would in the chat to write. All right, excellent. We got some answers coming in. And so Miss Margie says love. I would imagine the first one is healthy and the second one is unhealthy, is what I'm going to assume. If I'm wrong, please let me know. All right, so Miss Margie says healthy characteristic is love and an unhealthy characteristic is control.
It's good.
All right, Dr. Angela says a healthy characteristic is encouraging and then believing. I would imagine both of those are healthy. And then Miss Shonda said, Miss Shonda looks like hers are switched. Is that not? If that's right, Miss Shonda, that those are switched. Yep. So Miss Shonda, the unhealthy is workaholic, and the healthy is lovable. All right. Eric says strengthens versus weakens.
Love it.
Okay.
Right. Healthy, Cam Shanoa says rested and charismatic. Beautiful. Healthy is listening to understand. Better preach. Unhealthy, being aligned. Okay. All right. Or that not being aligned, right?
Did you mean unaligned? I think that's Jessica too. Jessica.
Yep, not being in alignment, on the same page. Yeah. Love that. Right?
She says yes. So not being aligned. Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Unhealthy is needy. Wow. Ooh, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's usually a red flag if that neediness is, possibly expecting your partner to be something that really your creator is supposed to be for you.
Right. Yeah. That's a big one.
That's
a
huge.
Really big one.
All right, just a couple of basic things we wrote down for healthy and unhealthy based on just some standard things. Out here. Completely offline. What is happening? You want me to get my phone and go mobile?
I can hear you now.
You can hear us?
All right. All right, our connection's strong now. We're having some connection. No, it's going up and down.
Yeah. All right, you all. So we're having some technical challenges, but we are going to get them together. But can you all give me a thumbs up if you can hear us?
Okay, perfect.
All right, excellent. So in the meantime, as we're working through that, so on the screen, you all will see some definitions according to the U.S. Health Administration, right? So these are the definitions when we talk about healthy and unhealthy, according to the U.S. Health Administration. They define healthy as change adept, proper functioning, well-being and productive, secure and adaptable, stable and open-minded. So these are some of the characteristics and things that define what being healthy is and how those things show up. And then as we move into unhealthy, some of the things that you all will notice here are the complete opposite of what we see in healthy: change averse, or being or not being
you're allergic to change. You don't want to change, right? You don't want your partner to change.
Exactly.
But living things grow.
Exactly.
Meaning they change.
Right. Malfunctioning means that you are not functioning according to exactly what you have been created to do or what you are supposed to be doing. So that is considered malfunction. Now, go ahead.
And then we have ill being. Instead of well being, you are ill being, right? Meaning you are, that's pretty much you're not on brand. You're not doing the things that you're supposed to do to cultivate your being. You have a purpose, and so you're not in line with your purpose. And so a lot of times when we're not aligned with our purpose, we expect our partner to be our purpose. And unproductive, meaning we're not moving towards our destiny and things we're supposed to do. Insecure, meaning I don't feel secure in maybe my confidence rests in my assurance that this job is gonna keep me on for another year.
And that oftentimes is where that neediness shows up, where you are trying to actually get your validation and your sense of self from other people or from the things that you do.
Rigid, stagnant, mean you again, no growth. Rigid means, hey, I will only say yes if it follows this my own the way that I think, the way that I know, and the way that I want to do it. But I'm not open to anything outside of that. Essentially, that's closed minded or unstable. All right. Today I'm hot, tomorrow I'm cold. I'm up, I'm down. I got dreams today, and tomorrow, you're again just not being stable in the things that you're planning on doing. So these are just some characteristics of unhealthy.
Absolutely.
All right, so this takes us into our first thing. We're going to have a CBT approach, a cognitive behavior therapy type approach with the breakdown. We're going to talk about our thoughts first. So when you unpack your relationship bags, the first thing we want to know is your thoughts. What healthy or unhealthy thinking are impacting your relationship dynamics? So on that same T-chart, we had you define what healthy and unhealthy is. Now we want you to write down what is one healthy thought and what's one unhealthy thought that you might have come into your relationship with. And we'll give you an example.
Absolutely. So for me, I grew up with the idea that, for example, condoms were for people who weren't married. Condoms were not for a monogamous relationship. Condoms were for people who were socially, sexually active, right? So equating that means that if I'm in a monogamous relationship, if I'm in a marriage, then I shouldn't have to use condoms.
Kind of protection.
Exactly. The idea was that birth control is the responsibility of the woman. Why do I need to be responsible for birth control? Well, the question is, do I want to have children? And if the answer is yes or no, the bottom line is I have to be an active participant in birth control and contraception. Now, we're going to get into this a little bit later, but those are the type of oftentimes thoughts that are influenced by culture. Those are the things that are oftentimes influenced by our background or our foundation. And again, notice it's not necessarily good or bad, but again, from a health standpoint, is that a healthy thought? Or is that an unhealthy thought? And as we continue to move into some of the other areas, but that seed that's planted can really begin to bloom into some actions and behaviors that are not necessarily conducive.
And auditing, where did you get that from?
Right.
Was that passed down to you in the locker room? The men in your family was like, oh yeah, that's women's responsibility. Like, were these some things, where did that come from? All right. One thing, a healthy thought and versus, we're just gonna share some of the unhealthy thoughts that we put down in our work. One of mine was that fatherhood matures men. And so becoming a father is going to change the thought process of a person, because a lot of times when women become moms, sometimes our thought process shifts. It doesn't mean that all women, but some women, a lot of times we will put the children first. We will, our mindset changes. We might not go get that hair done if we got to take care of if we got a bill that's responsible for our child's well-being. We will put that first. And so that was an unhealthy thought, but I saw that modeled, that I saw some great models of fatherhood, and so that was an unhealthy thought. What's an unhealthy thought? If you choose to share, I know some of you are doing different work. One of you, Ms. Shonda, I know you're doing work about your job. You're talking about the relationship between you and work. What's an unhealthy thought when it comes to you and your professional role at work? A thought that you found yourself that you believe is unhealthy.
The more I work, the more I become indispensable.
That's big. Wow.
And that's powerful, because you take that same, you will take that same, if that's your thought, you're gonna take that same thought into your romantic relationships, your friendships. The more time I give my friends, I'm a better friend.
Yeah, and the challenge with that is the more I work, the more valuable I am
to people,
rather than who I am is the value.
Exactly.
And not that you don't work hard,
Mm-hmm.
not that you don't,
Mm-hmm.
and not that you don't operate in a spirit of excellence.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, but we have to be careful that we don't allow our value to be completely and totally wrapped up in our work,
Absolutely.
in what we do.
All right. What's another one? I know a relationship work.
All right. So Miss Margie said, real men take care of family. Lazy men lay around, depend on women. And that was something that she gathered from her grandfather. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Powerful. Mm-hmm. The things that the things that we take from the wisdom of our elders, right?
Right.
And we have to remember the wisdom from our elders are often given to us from the generation and the time period in which they were leaders.
That's right.
And so sometimes that wisdom is timeless, but sometimes that wisdom is very specific to that timeline that they were reared in, or the environment, or things like that.
Yeah, if I could use for a quick example, right? Think about, for those of you when COVID hit. For any of you that are familiar with elders, right? Elders had a hard time reconciling working from home.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you all, but the elders had a hard time with the idea you work. No, if you home, that means you're not working.
Pretty much.
You mean you doing your job from upstairs? And so again, that time frame can be difficult, and so we have to take that into consideration when we are receiving that advice from individuals who may be of a different period.
And this new generation, there's a lot of women who work in the different professions that require them. They have 80-hour work weeks, and so the father is the one that stays at home and takes care of the children and different things like that. So while that statement is understood, but it also can really be damaging to the father who is at home, is the homemaker, while the wife has a business or something like that that's providing for the family, right? That can cause some challenges with that thought process. Okay. All right.
That's good. Yeah.
All right. So some lemonade lessons. So these are the tips. We talked about testimonials and tips. So we gave you some testimonials. These are the lemonade lessons, and we're gonna give you some sweet tea tips. In our book, we theme it as pretty much lemonade and sweet tea. That's my favorite drink, lemonade.
And mine is sweet tea.
And sweet tea.
Yeah.
So we're gonna give you some lemonade lessons and sweet tea tips. All right. So here we go. The lemonade lessons for this one is, when it comes to your thoughts, when we're unpacking our relationship baggage, our thoughts shape a lot of our baggage, right? So thoughts influence expectations for yourself and others. So we want to audit which thoughts are healthy, but which thoughts are unhealthy. For example, given a little science, positive thinking and optimism are strongly linked to improving physical health. Optimistic patients are between 16 and 52% lower risk of dying from cancer, heart disease, stroke, and infection. If you have a positive thought life with your job is a whole relationship. So if you on this job and you're like, I got to give, because that's going to be my work. Give. What that means is the day that God might say, okay, sweetheart, we are done with this job. I'm going to retire you from this job. It's time to do something else. Then your worth and your world will shatter. Because you have rooted it in that. So we want to make sure we have that positive thinking to know that, no, my worth adds value to this work, right? And so knowing that it's rooted in the right thing, right? That the foundation is right. But this is just an example of how optimism, positivity. So if you go to work every day and be like, oh my gosh, I really do not want to go here today, that means we have to put in some work about that, because that is how your day is going to be shaped. We literally get what we speak, and we know in the spiritual realm, hey, it's all through the word about the power. The whole book of James is about our tongue being a weapon of positivity or mass destruction. And so the psychological thing, do not ignore problems. We're not saying to ignore problems by being toxic positive, where you just in delusion, right? Be optimistic. Data from 70% of women show that high levels of optimism lower the risk of dying from infection, stroke, heart disease, and respiratory disease. The heart is directly connected to love, but it's also connected to unforgiveness. So the opposite of that is not forgiving. It really it's a matter of your health.
Mm-hmm.
And in the spiritual realm, it says, take every thought captive. In 2 Corinthians 10:5, we are destroying sophisticated arguments, every exalted or proud thing that sets itself up against the true knowledge of God, and we are taking every thought and purpose captive to the obedience to Christ. So our thoughts impact our relationships. So that's something we want to unpack. What unhealthy things did you bring into your romantic relationship?
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, that thing about men working, my daughter called me out on that. She was like, Mom, you got a bias about men that don't work. And I'm like, maybe that's some of them.
I work, y'all. Yeah, I work. I want to put that out there. I work.
Just being productive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being productive. Hey, and so the contributions. So we have to audit that. And it's true. I used to say some things that really hurt my partner's feelings in the beginning of our marriage because of my thoughts, right? And so we want to expand that. So now that you've kind of audited a healthy thought and an unhealthy thought, we want you to go back and kind of examine that.
Mm-hmm.
Examine that. How appropriate is it for the different situations that you are privileged to work in?
Absolutely.
Because again, if Walter was a full-time husband, if I had that mindset, I would be probably verbally abusive to him because of my thoughts and thinking that he's not doing what he's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's big. Mm-hmm.
All right, just some lemonade lessons. All right, the next phase we want to go into is for you to unpack is we got the brain, unpacked
Mm-hmm.
our thought life.
Mm-hmm.
The next
is emotions versus feelings. Now, we wanted to be careful because oftentimes people will use emotions and feelings as synonyms. And so they're actually two different things. So
Yes.
our thoughts often manifest and influence our emotions or the way that we show up in the world and how we interact with other people. So the difference between emotions and feelings are emotions are our reactions, right? So that is the way that we actually react to people or things based there. Now there's this project or there's something that's happened and now I got to drop everything that I'm doing so that I can focus on this particular project. Or my partner, I come in the house and I ask for something to be done and that thing is not done, and now there's a visible response that I am emanating,
emoting.
Exactly. And it is shown up it's shown up usually non-verbally. So before I even open my mouth, my body language is already communicating it. That is emotion. Now, as we move into feelings, feelings are the things that almost like the residual or the impact of those emotions. It is the way that I'm governing myself physiologically after the emotion has already passed.
Yes.
So these are the things that are based upon, again, the emotional impact on me. And now those things are coming out as it relates to the way that I'm now conducting myself when we talk about emotions and our feelings.
All right, so now we're going to do the work. All right, so we're going to have you to identify an emotion that you brought into that relationship that you're focused on, right? So we're going to start with the emotion and then we're going to have you expand that. We use in counseling, we use the feelings wheel a lot.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know how the feelings wheel works. Some people, it's better for you to ask them their feelings first, and then they can get to the core of that by identifying the emotion.
Correct.
But we're going to start with asking you to first identify an emotion first. So these are some of the emotions, and there's a lot of different feelings wheels, but we chose to use, this is Dr. McGrill's feelings wheel first, right? I like this one because it has the opposite sides and color code. So what is a healthy emotion that you brought into your relationship and an unhealthy emotion? And it could be, you could be speaking about the present, or meaning maybe you're doing some past work. Maybe you want to start with the root of how you started. It's up to you.
And we're going to ask you, if you would, to identify the most prevalent or the one that you typically exemplify the most on the healthy side and also on the unhealthy side. You want to share the healthy one you believe you brought into?
Oh, I forgot. We got to tell our
business.
business.
Yeah, we sure do. Absolutely.
All right. I think on the healthy side, I definitely came in as I really came in, I think, as very loving. Oh, okay.
No, I'm being funny.
Your body language is like, no, ma'am, you missed that basket. Shoot, try again.
Nah, I'm messing with
But
you.
no,
Yeah.
I was very loving. I was excited about love. I loved you as my partner. You were my friend. I like sharing and talking with you. So came in with loving. That was my healthy emotion. What I emoted. Now I don't know if I emoted it well on the outside, but there was love all on the inside parts.
Yeah.
All right. And then the other, the unhealthy emotion I believe I brought in was, where is it? Mm, I was afraid.
Hmm.
I do think there were some areas of my heart that I guarded because of threats, and some of that I'm sure became of my childhood experience in foster care and different families. Always the fear of, if I give love, when I mess up, will my credit score just drop, crash, and burn, and now you don't love me no more now. You know what I'm saying? And foster children typically carry that trauma of it's a lack of trust and not having security.
Yeah, for me, I will say that I came into, and I was toggling between loving and intrigued, but probably more intrigued, because I think that with intrigue, for me, I was excited about everything that I thought our relationship could be, like the possibility of it. And so, but also too, I love that it says attentive, because when you're intrigued, you have a heightened sense of awareness. Like everything is like amplified, because you're like, you're in this space, and it's new and it's different. And so I thought I brought a healthy amount of intrigue. On the unhealthy side, ashamed. I had a lot of self judgment issues. There were things that I did that I wasn't proud of. And even when you talk about, for example, being afraid, I was afraid of you hearing and learning about some of the things in my past, and that being a situation where it would damage our future. So for me, it was the shame piece and the self judgment, and believing that my past was going to disqualify my future.
And I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We didn't know that we was bringing that into our relationship. Hence why, like, a lot of these things, the first 5-10 years of a romantic relationship on your job, those first 5 years, man, a lot of things come up because you didn't even audit what you were bringing into it.
Yeah.
Right? You didn't even have the personal dialogue and conversation. So beautiful. We see that you guys have placed in the chat area a lot of your emotions. So great. The things that you're emoting, perfect. Now we're going to expand this wheel. So we may need to help y'all out, because we know but this is Dr. McGrill's wheel.
Right. And to be clear, notice that again, this is the emotion portion of the feelings wheel.
Right.
So what we're going to do as we move into the feelings, this is how it looks expanded. Now, for those of you like when you're dealing with Charmaine, just brace yourself, because it's like this.
We like to learn. We do.
This gives me anxiety, because it's just all kind of stuff all over. But if you notice,
it's beautiful.
Again,
It's magic.
Notice again those emotions in the middle. So when we talk about, again, the emotions and the feelings, the emotions are that centerpiece of, again, how you are showing up in the world. But then those feelings are often what is most identifiable when it comes, and the things that are left over, the emoting has subsided.
And we're going to speed up a little bit in the interest of time. We want to honor your time. But I will say this, though. So starting with what Walter and I just said. So I said I came into my relationship loving, right? Dr. Brene Brown, who's a social worker, and she has so many great books and content. She says the average person only has 4 emotional vocabulary words. How can you get what you want when you can't even verbally speak it? And we talked about the power of your mouth, right? And so I love this, because we're teaching couples and people in general, and women, how can you get what you want if you can't speak it? So I came in with love, but what did my love look like? It wasn't as caring as he would have liked at all. I was kind of rough around the edges. He was like, you don't love nobody as far as him, right? But for me, it was more, guess what, an adoration. It was admiration and reverence. That's how I love. For me, I lived in this zone more of adoration. Okay. But it wasn't showing up in his mind as caring because I'm kind of a tough love person. Like even with our daughters, I'm like, yeah, get up and do something. Be productive, right? I'm not that nurturing Netflix mom that my daughter's like, you're not a soft parenting mom, right? And then on the other side, so we want you to take that word and then we want you to expound on it even more. So take the word that you chose, and if it's hard to see, you can let us know, and then we can
Yeah. So as you identify the emotion, we want you to then in the two outer bands identify the feeling
yes
for you that corresponds with that emotion. If you can identify those.
and write that down in your chart. So we went from emotion to now the healthy and unhealthy feelings. Okay. We're gonna get granular. Hey, you know, we're gonna the grits. It's hard to pick up one grit. We're gonna get grit granular. So you pray, you speak. You can pray and you can actually speak to the very unhealthy things that you now want your creator to help you with. Because a lot of times we're like, well, I'm finding that my relationships aren't moving, they aren't progressing. Okay, well, how granular and specific are we with the prayer piece of it? Okay. All right, you guys give us a thumbs up when you're ready. We're gonna make sure we're moving.
So for Miss Shonda, we see hers tracking as she brings proud, and then she talked about self-confident and self-assured in hers, or empowered in hers.
Love that. Okay. All right, we got calm, we got concerned. All right, so love that, love that. I'm seeing that.
And for Eric, that is so true. I don't know if I've ever seen Eric like lose his cool. I've seen him slightly raise his voice at a student in the 20 years I've known him, and that's it. Like, but he's always he always appears as self-controlled. As in yeah, that's spot on.
That's awesome. All right. So are we understanding how to use this wheel? We're comfortable and the differences in emotions versus your feelings. All right, beautiful. All right, Dr. Scott.
I have a question really, really quick.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
It was blocking out, like the signal was low. So you look at the inner circle first, and then that identifies the next set of circles out, and then the last set of circles out.
So the inner circle is actually the emotion. That's the emoting. Usually when you have a stimuli or something that's happened, this is typically your response. And then the two outer bands are the actual feelings.
Yes. Now, for some of our counseling, we start with that. We'll just ask people, hey, when you woke up this morning,
how you feeling?
How did you feel? AM, afternoon, and at the end of the day, how do you feel? Right? Usually, people give us their feelings, and then we go inward.
Exactly.
Right? Because they don't have a lot of emotional vocabulary, and so whatever works best for you. It may be easier to say, hey, write down how you felt, and people will give you a feeling, and 9 out of 10 times they're going to start on the outer bands, and you know, but we know how to start wherever they start and let them know what that's linked to. If that helps. Does that help, Shannon?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, awesome. All right. In the interest of time, let's go to the lemonade lesson for this one.
All right. So you can't be my verbal therapist, you can't be my verbal terrorist and also be my therapist. Meaning that you cannot be a person that is a verbal assassin and then also try to counsel me and coach me through how to be better.
It don't work.
Right. You have to start with you first. How can you possibly help someone be better if you're not doing your self-work and being better? And so one of the things that science, the National Institute on Health says is that recurring anger damages blood vessels over time, which is why we see anger is acceptable in men. Part of the reason why we see them dying and having challenges with heart attacks and strokes is because of the damaging of the blood vessels over time. So that's part of the way we see that show up.
And physically. Hoarding emotions.
Yes.
You're holding things in that you haven't addressed because, you know, I got over it. No, you didn't get over it. You survived it, but you didn't go through it. You didn't do your healing work. So you carrying around all of these negative emotions, abandonment, all these different things, and you never addressed it. And so that goes back to unforgiveness, and unforgiveness is directly connected to the heart.
All right. Psychologically, our emotions are a thermometer of our hearts. So the way that we are showing up in our responses to things is a reflection of what we are actually feeling and dealing with inside of our heart and inside of ourselves. And that's according to the advanced cardiovascular specialist. And on the spiritual side, Luke 6:5 says, and just paraphrasing, this is Jesus speaking. He says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So, what is inside of your heart and the things that you are hoarding and storing there are going to come out in your words and in your nonverbals when you are in certain situations or when things are said that you respond to.
So how much of this are we taking into is impacting our relationships when we talk about that baggage piece, right? The healthy side is great, but we want to heal the unhealthy parts. Okay. And so now we know where to start when it comes to our emotions. Mm-hmm. All right. And our last one in the CBT therapy approach is our behaviors, our actions, and our habits. We want you to audit one unhealthy behavior, i.e., actions or habits that you have concerning that relationship that you're focusing on, and one unhealthy behavior or pattern that you have concerning that relationship. Mm-hmm. All right. That same T chart in your journal. Audit a behavior that you brought with you or in that friendship, whatever relationship work you're doing.
Mm-hmm. And once you have once you have yours down, if you want to throw a comment about your healthy and your unhealthy in the chat, you can definitely do so.
Can you give an example of behavior?
Yes, I don't think we did it last time.
Yeah.
All right.
No, we did for the emotions and the feelings.
Oh, good.
So, for example, for me, I talked about being intrigued going into our relationship, right? So, from a healthy standpoint, the behavior that came out of that was again being very attentive to the things that Charmaine was into, and being mindful of the things that I knew would help to positively impact our marriage and our relationship. So focusing on being a good steward when it came to money. Focus. We exercise and we walk together. So really being adamant about the things that were going to positively impact our marriage and our relationship on the intrigue side.
So yeah, like for example, I said love, connected to just even the emotions for me. I had love, but then I also had I was afraid, right? So some of the things were just afraid that love would be withdrawn. So for me, some of that is always wanting to make sure that I didn't just love him, but I loved his family. I love the people who he loves. And so I want to honor the people who he loves and find value in, because that's going to show him. And so a lot of even our love languages are shaped around our process. Everything is connected. Some of the unhealthy behaviors or habits, right? We've noticed, like for example, we went through infidelity, and some of that is infidelity is all about you going outside of your relationship agreement to meet your need, right? And so whether that's with finances, whether that's with there's financial infidelity, there's romantic infidelity, there's addictions, things like that.
And what was I was going to say, what was interesting about that is that, remember, I said that I was ashamed. And because I was ashamed, it didn't pull me out of being shameful. It pulled me back. It pulled me further into it. So I was ashamed about the things that I did in my past, but it just led to even more secrecy in my behaviors moving forward. And it wasn't until I actually confessed them to Charmaine that I was actually able to heal from.
Them chains dropped. Now it was rough. Get through. It was rough and ugly, and it hurts, but getting through that, there was a freedom, there was a release, there was healing. really for him and myself.
Yes.
And then God put us under put me under the microscope to release some of the things that why didn't I trust? Because again, I had a pattern of adults saying one thing in my life and not really following through it. So he loves me, but I don't know if he really gonna love me. So there was some secrecy with me. There was some shame that I had as well. Things that happened in my past in foster care with abuse, sexual abuse, and things like that. So when you have these things that you're not auditing, you're not addressing, and or counseling wasn't even a thing earlier on with you'll be surprised how it shows up in your behavior.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't trust. I was afraid to trust, but I also couldn't be trusted to be truthful about my shame, about my guilt, about my fears. So we have to be the leader in the very things that we want. I wanted trust, but guess what? I wasn't trustworthy because I wasn't willing to reveal my shame, my hurt, my guilt. And there's certain poems that we have in our book about just poor choices that we made, but the lessons that came out of that were so powerful.
Yeah, and I wasn't able to really move out of that place of being ashamed until that confession came.
Release, yes. And that's why I said confession is good for the soul.
Confession is good
that
for the
means
soul.
That's your mind, your body, your choices, and your will, right? So some lemonade lessons, habits are hard to break, but not impossible. So some of the science, if we talk about our relationship with food, we wanted to pick an area. Not, we want to pick an area. We all have a relationship with food because we're required to nourish our bodies, right? And so when you think about that relationship with food, really sugar in particular, roughly $1 trillion annually, about $3,000 a person for excessive sugar consumption is linked to treating diseases like obesity and diabetes. So we spend a lot of money in the U.S. because of sugar-related unhealthy relationships with sugar.
Yeah, and that represents 30 to 40% of the U.S. spending on healthcare is related specifically to that.
So sugar is not a bad thing, right? But it's our consumption that makes it bad, that makes it unhealthy, right? And so bad habits impacting relationships. So the things when we're continuing in our unhealthy patterns, it reduces our energy, our productivity, and the cost of therapy, counseling to manage our addictive behaviors. So once we know our unhealthy thoughts, emotions, behavior, we want to make sure we're shifting our behaviors. And then lastly, in the spiritual realm, Ephesians 5:15 through 16, Amplify says, therefore, see that you walk carefully. We want to do things that are honorably, purposeful, courageous, and it's not easy, y'all. Shunning, shunning the things that we know are not going to serve us well. Our time, and then we want to take advantage and the opportunity of using it with wisdom and diligence because the days are evil.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of things that we have access to, but it doesn't mean everything is good for us and beneficial.
Yeah, the Bible talks about redeeming the time. And so what that means is we have to be very mindful of the way that we are utilizing our time. And so this scripture speaks to us being very mindful of the things that we are allowing ourselves to do and not just believing that we have more time to change or to break a habit. If once you have the knowledge that this thing is unhealthy, you need to make steps to deal with it then.
Yeah. And so the things with us and our actions where things that led to infidelity, things that led to more shame, more secrecy, right? Secrecy was really a huge reason why our marriage was unhealthy. And the Holy Spirit called us out and was like, look, y'all need to have a conversation. You need to share with your husband about sexual abuse you experienced in foster care, how it has shaped some untrust, some shame, things like that. And the whole kept nudging us to have this conversation, this courageous conversation. And that is where chains started falling off, healing, crying, all the different things. And the Lord even let us know that I can't use y'all in ministry until you do the work. So we always have to be the leader in the very thing that we say we want. People come into helping other people and you're not healed.
All right. So we want to get into these sweet tea tips, right? So tip number one is that we have to reframe our unhealthy thoughts with positive affirmations to counteract negative thoughts. So when you understand and know yourself and some of the tendencies that you have and some of the intrusive thoughts, especially those ones that constantly come, you have to go ahead and develop an affirmation, whether it's a scripture or whether it's a quote, something to combat that thought. And then also one of the things that we're very big on is the THINK acronym.
Yeah, this is in the education field. I know you've seen Dr. Scott and Mrs. Scott. I know you guys have seen this. All right, think before you speak. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Okay, nice is not a fruit of the spirit, but kindness is. Okay, is it kind? Now that doesn't mean that you don't tell the truth. So it's a whole formula. Everything in the counseling world is rooted in the word. Or you can apply the Philippians 4:18 thought filter, right? Is it true? Is it honest? Is it just? Is it virtuous? Is it pure? Is it lovely? Is it of good rapport?
We talked earlier about taking every thought captive. When you take that thought captive, this is the test that you put it through. Philippians 4:8 is what you actually apply to that thought to see exactly what you need to do with it. If you need to give it the electric chair, or if it's free to go. Absolutely.
Yep. And you need to definitely arrest it and destroy that thought. The next sweet tea tip is for our emotions, right? Because so learn to govern your emotions and to be open to hearing how others experience you.
Yes.
The best way to get truth is to ask the people who got a front row seat and front row witness to who you are in your healthy and unhealthy moments. Okay, ask those individuals. They will be honest with you and show them that that you want them to be honest with you by how you respond.
Yeah, and we talked about obviously the feelings right? Ask yourself, is it a feeling or is it a fact? Because oftentimes the things that we are feeling, they are real to us, but that doesn't necessarily make it factual.
Meaning, for it to be a fact, you have to have evidence. It's not going to pass the Philippians 4:8 test because there's no evidence, right? It's just your feeling, and you're okay. Your feeling is true to you, but it doesn't make it a fact to the situation.
Yeah.
And then lastly,
a lot of our emotional responses are actually rooted in our emotional wounds.
Yes,
go ahead.
I was gonna say I do a lot of work with women on emotional wounds. And Walter does as well, to be honest. Almost all of our couples, everyone goes into a relationship with an emotional wound. It's essentially your inner child showing up and showing out. When you have an emotional wound, which all of us do, it's your first trauma that you've had between birth and 18, right? It shows up. And so you want to audit what your two emotional wounds are. Every client that we have, we make sure they know what are your two emotional wounds. Because sometimes when you're upset and you're offended, it is your emotion, your inner child is showing up to defend what's happening. So for me, we didn't know this, but coming in, my emotional wound, we actually have the same one. We both have a humiliation
and rejection.
We talked about shame and guilt.
Yep.
We both have a humiliation wound and rejection.
Yep.
We both have the so guess what? He over here fighting not to be humiliated. I'm over here fighting not to be humiliated and rejected, and we're both there was this wall.
Same struggle.
Same struggle.
And so we're going to cover these more in some of the other sessions.
Future sessions.
But we definitely want you all to start thinking about what are the emotional wounds that you find yourself potentially dealing with.
Your unhealthy thoughts, emotions, and actions are rooted in a trauma that happened between birth and 18. And they will show up when offense shows up. It's your inner child saying, and they whispering in your ear how to think, how to feel, and how to behave.
Yep. And lastly, sweet tea tip number 3, as it relates to your behaviors, we have to learn how to audit our behaviors. Track if they align with the quality of the life and the relationships that you are pursuing. We want to be careful that our behaviors are not contrary and pulling us off track to the people that we want to become and the things that we actually want to do or accomplish. And the way that we go about doing that is really taking a look at our actions and behaviors and our habits. And here's the thing. We talked earlier in the previous slide about gauging others. We do not live in this world alone. Yes. So it's going to be very important for you to have trusted voices and wise counsel that are going to share with you things about you to help govern how you actually grow.
And don't play tennis. Don't ask them for their truth and then you just knocking it back over there and be like, nah, that ain't it. Nah, that ain't it.
Now, a big one when it comes to behavior, right? And we talked about this earlier. We have to be careful that we don't allow culture, family conditioning, that we don't allow things to enable behaviors as they are acceptable. So, for example, because I'm a black man, it's okay for me to drink and smoke and do certain things when I'm 20 years old because I'm young. Because I live in a certain neighborhood, because I have a certain amount of money, it's okay for me to be inconsiderate of people in a certain way, right?
That's how we talk to people.
Right.
That's how we do. That's how we live over here.
That's just who I am.
That's just who I am. And oh, show me what that your creator defines who you are.
Yeah. So we have to identify those things that would actually enable behaviors and habits that are really not healthy for us to continue, regardless of where we find ourselves in life.
Because you will be challenged to change your culture, to shift, to grow, to evolve, to grow up out of some of these things that are not healthy for you. And so we have provided this chart belongs to the Gottman Institute. It is about, and we had to chop certain things to get it on the slide, y'all. So forgive me. I want to always give credit where credit due. This is a John Gottman. They're the grandfather of relationship education and wellness. These are the four horsemen of relation. This is called the relationship apocalypse. So they are the ones that have done the most research in relationships, period, and to determine what will kill your relationship. There are four horsemen. The four horsemen are criticism. So if you're verbal attacking somebody's personality or character, your marriage, your friendship, your job, you work at your job will not work if you criticize. Contempt, attacking someone's sense of self with an intent to insult or abuse. Relationship will not work. The research shows it. Thousands of people they follow for more than 50 years. Defensiveness, victimizing. If you love being a victim, you will not give up your trauma story because you love wearing it like accessories. I gotta be a victim because it gets me attention.
There you go.
Your relationships will not work. You will lose friendships, jobs, because you're always a victim. A victim has to have a villain. You make everybody else a villain. And lastly, stonewalling, withdrawing to avoid conflict. Not putting it on pause, but it's like, time will heal it. Time heals nothing. Work does. You got to put in that work. And so these are the four horsemen, and over here tells you how to heal those things.
Yeah, and again, in subsequent sessions, we're going to go through these in more detail. But again, we wanted to make sure that you all had some of these tips as we begin to start really delving into the baggage that you all are going to be investigating.
We want to pause here to just address any questions or thoughts because we forgot to put our question slide.
Yes, we did. Yep. So you all have heard a lot from us. So we want to open it up for any questions that you all may have.
Thoughts.
Yeah.
Light bulb moments.
Well, first of all, y'all giving us a lot this morning, and I am grateful. Great tips, great things to think about, great vocabulary. Like I have these notes here, great things for our homework. But one of the things you said earlier that I did love, and if it could be repeated, it's like the positive, being overly positive toxic. And that was powerful because even in my own thinking, because mine is working on self and just looking at, how I'm showing up in this season of my life. And that positive behavior it could be overtoxin to some people. And I had someone to say to me, do you always show up healthy? And that just always happy. Are you always happy? But the way they said it in such like a negative way. And I'm thinking, you want me to walk around sad? So that was kind of like, wow. And I went to Eric talking about that. Like, how am I supposed to show up? Do you go to a brunch and start crying at the table? Like, I just couldn't understand why that person was so adamant about me being happy or something like that. So that was powerful.
Well, Dr. Scott, some people can't believe what they haven't seen, or they can't believe who they're not, who they've yet to become. And so, no, you show up happy if you happy and it's genuine and it's truthful. Yes, I think the challenge is people don't get access to that level of intimacy with us. So they probably have never seen you sad, and it doesn't mean that you don't have those emotions and those experiences. But even Jesus, we saw him weep, we saw him get upset, but that wasn't the overall branding that he presented publicly. And so I think maybe that person wants to get to know you a little bit deeper, or maybe they're just curious, or maybe they just haven't experienced happiness and joy unspeakable like you have. So don't let it change you.
Yeah, and I would caution you too, Dr. Scott, that again, the way you show up for a lot of people, again, because of the baggage that they're bringing, they can't believe that can be authentic.
Yep.
They can't believe that there's no way that somebody can actually show up all the time the way that you do. And I can tell you again that that is just who you are.
You exude joy.
Absolutely. Like that is, and that ain't no act. Like that is literally who you are.
But that's in your name. Hello. Right. Your name is a whole poem and a whole story. Angela, angel. Hello.
Yeah.
Angels exude joy
Yeah.
and happiness.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, now there's some angels that'll,
Yeah, and there's a great phrase too that, sometimes your angel will offend other people's demons.
What?
So, just know that going in. But going back to your question about toxic positivity, right? The way that will often show up is that it will prevent you from being able to see certain situations or people or for what they are, so that you can again make a move, because it's important for us to preserve and focus our energy on the right things and the right people.
Yeah.
And so when you have a toxic a positive toxic personality, when you're toxic with your positivity, what happens is you find yourself constantly investing these resources into this thing, constantly investing, because there's this eternal optimism, when sometimes the season is saying that I've invested, it's time for me to pull away and invest my resources and my energy elsewhere. And so you have to be very careful of allowing your positivity to be this tool that is, no, I'm going to absolutely stay here until I change this. When again, sometimes it's planting a seed and watering, but again, it's God that makes it grow.
Yeah, toxic positivity, another way of it is when people are just lying. So if you're telling the truth and you are joyful, you are happy, that's fine. And sometimes you're expressing what you want to be, and that's fine too. Maybe I really don't feel joyful, but I am going to make my feelings yield to what God says I need right now, and that's fine too. But it's people who are, but you're not being honest. You're not going to take it back to the Lord and really address the truth of where you are in that moment, and that's where it becomes toxic, that you're not being honest. So that you can do honest work.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you both. Thank you.
Yeah.
Questions?
Or thoughts or ideas as we get ready to close? All right, we do. All right, let us know. You can turn your microphone if need be.
I just wanted to say the whole emotions versus feelings segment, I never thought that there was two different things either. So that was something very interesting for me to find out, because I always thought they were the same thing. It was just emotions and feelings meant the same thing, just in the context of whatever you're talking about it. So I knew they were actually two separate entities in essence. So that was very eye-opening for me.
Awesome. All right, well, we learned, hey, we're the first students.
Go ahead, Miss Margie.
I just want to say that this is awesome, and it's helping me to look at a situation that I'm dealing with trying to be honest with myself, trying to always being positive for everyone else, and trying not to rock the boat, and trying to make sure everything is okay. That's really taking a toll on me. So I have to look at, my upbringing and everything. So I'm so happy for this, because I can be honest with myself.
Right.
Yeah, and Miss Margie, that is so important, because again, when you are positive and when you are committed to really honoring your purpose and honoring God, you have to be so careful of your purpose, because people will have no problem taking advantage and like completely exhausting you for their benefit and advantage.
Yes.
And that will keep you out of purpose. And so we have to absolutely audit those situations.
Yeah, and that means they're not, but that requires us to have boundaries to not even allow them to be. We have to protect our relationships by setting those boundaries so that they're not using you so much, because they don't know. We have to manage our time. We have to manage what's appropriate so that we don't offend your creator who says, no, I got stuff for you to do, Miss Margie. And you giving all your time away to these people and you ain't even sowing on good ground. Because I know what's really going on with them. You don't, but I do. But you're doing this, but I didn't assign you to it because I know that they really are not good ground to fertilize.
Yeah.
And so I've done that. Guilty. In church, they tell you serve, 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 serve. And sometimes, you yeah, they say you're pouring into a bag with holes. So we want to make sure we're sowing on good ground, and God knows who that ground is. That's why we ask His permission before even who we serve and how we serve.
Yeah. So as we come to a close, we want to leave you all with a quote from Lao Tzu, which is, watch your thoughts, for they become your words. Watch your words, for they become your actions. Watch your actions, for they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. So this really captures everything that we've been talking about today when we talk about the relationship between our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings, and our behaviors. It is all tied together and it is all important. But again, it's never too late for us to actually stop and begin to audit those things and to make some changes and some adjustments in our life. And we want to be clear too that not everybody's going to like the changes that you make.
Nope.
Not everybody is going to be on board or in agreement with it, but part of what we have been assigned to do is ensure that we're walking in the authenticity of who we've been created to be.
Yes, we definitely been called to serve in that way. Your creativity in whatever capacity that is, culinary arts, money. Some people are amazing with arts, marketing. You see people, even with again, Dr. Angela and Eric, you guys do an amazing job of bringing people together, just teaching people whatever area of creativity you were given, right? It's important. That's a relationship, and so we want to make sure we're auditing how we're coming in. But our goal is to help people with their creativity piece, their art piece. How is that given to you to heal you, so that you're not out of balance as you're serving in the area that you're supposed to serve? And so, yes, we help people get a personal PhD and a partner PhD with your other relationship wellness. And so these are just some of the supports that we provide. I've done sessions with women, generations of women, the mamas, the daughters, and
Speaking of mamas and daughters,
so
and women.
Yes. Oh, yes. In April, there's a women's retreat that's coming up. So it's a 4-day, it's really a 4-day, 3-night weekend intensive. But women are welcome to come just for a 1-day pass. So just maybe, hey, I'm looking to come on Friday. Okay, women can come just for that 1 day, but I do have some women that are going to be there all 4 days, and 3 nights. It's arts infused. We're going to get into some boundary work, some all just different types of wellness work in a fun way, so we get to play,
Y'all
get deep.
Look, let me y'all know who y'all dealing with. Y'all know who y'all dealing with. It's gonna be a whole experience.
Physical boundaries, emotional boundaries, some self-defense, all kind of stuff. Y'all, we're gonna play.
The weekend ain't long enough. I'm just gonna say the weekend ain't long enough to hold everything that y'all gonna be doing.
Gonna play. So please reach out to me if you want to support anyone that would like to come to something like that, or we have a donations button on our website that you can invest. Hey, $5, $10, we'll take anything. Anything will support a woman. So your homework is your 6-word story. Next with some other things. We have a passport stamps. That's wounds and scars.
Yeah, so we're talking about wounds, scabs, and scars, right? And the effect of our past relationships that we are taking with us. So we talked today again about the thoughts and the emotions and the behaviors. Now we're going to dig into again, where did a lot of those things come from?
Yeah.
Where did those thoughts and those emotions, where did those things come from? So we're going to dig a bit more into that during our next session at the end of May.
All right. I don't know what I missed. Thank you for letting us know, letting me know that we froze. But yes, so retreat, I was only just wrapping up about the retreat. And then next month we're excited about getting into more emotional
In
wounds.
May.
In May for emotional wounds and scars. And really, Google reviews help us. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
thank
If
you.
you have a Google account, we would love for you to give us a Google review. We'll email you that information as well, as it is 12 o'clock. And again, we want to honor the time. This helps people find our business. This helps people to learn what we're doing, help us grow, provide us some personal feedback. But yeah, we would love that 5-star Google review if you like what you experienced today.
Excellent.
All right, but we really appreciate your time, and I'm going to stop our recording.